Heyo. So I don't drink alcohol. I haven't had a drink in a little over 2 years. And I accidentally, had a cocktail a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to tell you all about it. Hello and welcome to Heal and Grow with Nickie. I'm your host, Nickiekrommingahill. Here we explore anything and everything that might support us on the journey to mental wellness. From hope to grief, possibilities to challenges, joy to heartache, nothing is off limits. Let's reflect on our lives and discover ways to heal and grow together. I'm so glad you're here with me. Oh, hello there, everyone. How are you? How are you? Everyone that I've been talking to lately, literally everyone, is not good for multiple reasons. Not good. Oh, I wish I could take that stuff away for us, but I can't. And so just know that I'm thinking about you. And I hope that things can turn around soon. If you're someone like me who thinks, well, they're not going to get better in the next 4 years. True. That's not going to change. It's going to get worse. But there are things that we can do at home, with our people, at school, at work, at church, wherever in our communities to make things just a little bit better. And I hope that you're able to find some of that goodness. Anywho, I digress. Today's episode, it's episode 50. Oh, I wrote that a while ago, so I forgot. It is episode 50, or number 2 if you're just starting to listen with season 2. But episode 50, that's a BFD. Awesome. Yay. Thanks for making it so that I can do 50 podcasts, everybody. Okay, season 2, episode 50, accidental cocktail. Okay, so I do not drink. If you'd like more info on that, you can listen to season 1, episodes 9 and 30. Go pretty in depth into why I don't drink. Okay, so it was a couple weeks ago. Paul and I, my husband Paul and I, are out with our dear friends celebrating one of their birthdays. We're at a kind of nice, fancy-ish chain restaurant. I'm not going to name the name of it because some of you are so fiercely loyal to me that I'm afraid you'd go try to burn them down if I told you the name. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we're having birthday dinner with our friends, and I ordered something called a Blackberry Lemonito. It's listed as, I think they call them driving drinks, as in you can drink this and also drive. So my drink was called a Blackberry Lemonito, and it consists of lemonade, mint, blackberry puree, and Sprite. Now, I knew that I was going to like this drink because when I was drinking, I always ordered the alcoholic version, which is called a Blackberry Mojito, which is Bacardi Limon, mint, blackberry puree, and lime. So my mocktail driving drink, Blackberry Lemonito, comes out, and it was stunning. It was a stunning drink. The colors were beautiful, and it was served in a martini glass. And, I do love me some festive drinkware. So yeah, we're drinking and we're eating, and my girlfriend says, "Hey, could I try your drink? Because if I like it, then I'm gonna get the alcoholic version one." So she tries it. I was like, "This is really good." I was like, "I know, right?" And waiter comes back over and asks us if we want to order more drinks. And my girlfriend says, "Hey, I want a 21 plus version of what she's drinking." And he was like, what do you mean 21 plus? Do you love reading as much as I do? Then you will love Bookshop. Bookshop is an online book marketplace with the mission to financially support local independent bookstores. Here's how it works. You purchase a book off of bookshop.org, and instead of your order going through a big box store, your order will come from an indie bookshop in your area. You can even pick the specific bookstore you'd like it to ship from. If you use the link I've provided in this episode's show notes, you can find books that I recommend. If you purchase one of the books on my list, not only will you be giving business to a local indie bookseller, but I'll get a tiny cut as well. Bookshop has raised over $35 million for local bookstores. Don't you want to be a part of the goodness? And she or somebody said, I'm having the non-alcoholic version. She wants the alcoholic version. And he said, oh, you wanted non-alcoholic? And I said, yeah. And he goes, okay, that's you've been drinking the alcoholic version. And I said, well, that explains why I'm getting a little bit warm. When I have alcohol, my cheeks just get flushed immediately. And this poor waiter, he is apologizing profusely. He feels horrible. I don't want him to feel horrible because I know that he made a mistake. It's a pretty freaking big mistake, yes, but I know that he made a mistake, you know? And so I'm trying to like sort of lighten the mood, and he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. I'm not going to have the rest of this, and I'm going to call my sponsor right now. Well, he didn't think that was funny. Well, that's okay. And I don't have a sponsor, so that was just a little joke. So I had, 3/4 of it. There was maybe only a couple of sips left. So basically I had an entire cocktail. Now, dear listener, I want to be really honest with you and tell you that I did not notice the taste of alcohol in this drink. I noticed that it was like a little bit bitter, but I thought that the bitterness was coming from the lemonade. So there was never a moment that I thought, is this alcohol? I did notice, however, that I was feeling really down. Like, whereas when, 30, 45 minutes ago when I came into the restaurant, I was upbeat, peppy, happy. And now I was just like really low energy, kind of wanted to go home. So he brings me the non-alcoholic version of the drink. And then I noticed the difference. I was like, oh, these are two completely different drinks. They do not taste the same at all. Anyway, all of our drinks that night were comped. So I'm going to say yay to that server. Thank you for making it right. Kind of, like he did what he could. I do wonder if it was a different person besides me, if it would have been a bigger issue. Anyway, we had a great rest of the night. I have a little story to tell now. So we say goodbye to our friends, and as soon as we walk out the door, I burst into tears, which I was not expecting. I just started tearing up. I started crying. And because in that moment, when we left the restaurant, I thought, do I have to start over? Do I have to go back to day 0? I know you love to give unique gifts, and my husband Paul and I have just the solution for you. Introducing the Pretty Great Merch Company. Paul and I have an online store, and we're selling merch that's pretty great, if I do say so myself. We've got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, bags, shower curtains, mugs, stickers, so much great stuff. Unique designs, quality gear, and goods that let you stand out. Let our Pretty Great merch show off your style. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook at The Pretty Great Merch Co., or check out the link in the show notes of this episode. Did I, quote unquote, fall off the wagon? Did I have a hiccup? Like, what does this mean? What does it mean that I just had a drink and but it was accidental, it was unintentional, and it was a mistake. And, just as soon as I started crying, I stopped because I realized, wait a second, this is a non-issue. It's a non-issue. It's not his fault. Well, it was his fault. It was his fault, but it was an accident. And it's not my fault. So it's a non-issue. I'm not going to restart my counter. It's an honest mistake. I'm not mad at the server. I'm not mad at myself. And by the next day, I had forgotten all about it, except that I had just the tiniest headache. So it's really made me think in the past couple of weeks since this happened, what else? What other things in my life do I think that I've messed up royally? What are the things that I've thought I've completely screwed up, but it turns out that it's just not an issue, or it's not that big of an issue? What are the things that I blow out of proportion, because I have a propensity to do that, that are really it's just not a thing. It was an accident, and I don't need to analyze it any more than it was. What are the things? And to be honest with you, I don't know what the other things are right now, but I know I've done it over and over and over again in the past. Made things a bigger issue in my brain than the fact that it was just an honest mistake. And when it's an honest mistake, you say, oopsies, gotta move forward. And so I'm asking you, what are the things in your life now, in the present or in the past, that you are like, I totally messed this up? And it turns out you didn't mess it up at all. It just was a thing that happened, and you could say goodbye to it and not let it torture you any longer. I would love to hear from you if you have anything like that. I would love to talk more about that with you. You can always email me at Heal and Grow with Nickie podcast. Nickie is spelled Nickie. And if you happen to be someone who's listening to this and you think that I fell off the wagon and I relapsed and that I need to go back to day 0, I'm going to kindly ask you to screw off, because that's not how I'm working my sobriety. Yep, that's not how I'm doing it. And I get to work my sobriety how I want to, and you get to work yours how you want to. More on that in a future episode, because obviously I'm salty about it, right? If you'd like to support my work, there's so many ways you can, through Pretty Great Merch Company, through my book, through Bookshop. All of these things will be linked in the show notes. You can buy me a coffee. And the biggest bang for your buck is to share my work. Either doing it on social media is great, because that's public and a lot of people see it, which actually matters. I know. Wah, wah, wah. Or you could tell a friend, or send a friend, hey, I have just listened to this podcast. I think you should listen to this episode. I think you'd love it. That helps me out a lot, friends. Hope you're doing great. Please take care of your hearts and your bodies and your minds and all of the stuff. Please do the very best you can. I know it's a lot. It's a lot right now, loves. As always, thanks for healing and growing with me. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, or professional advice. I am not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice.